Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome the musicians of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. Please. I know, that was an excellent introduction, thank you. Please stand for the Star-Spangled Banner.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful, not raining August day here in front of City Hall in the great city of Baltimore. As you heard, we are the musicians of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, specifically the brass and percussion sections of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, one of the great orchestras of the world. Give them another round of applause, please. My name is Nicholas Hirsch. I have the great honor and privilege to be the associate conductor of this great orchestra. And one of the reasons we're here with you today is that we are celebrating a rare opportunity for this orchestra to go on the first international tour for the BSO in 13 years. We, next week, are headed on a 9-day, 3-city tour to the UK and Ireland. We'll have performances at the Edinburgh Festival in Scotland, in Dublin, Ireland, and at the BBC Proms in London, all under the baton of the maestra herself, Maren Alsop. It is really a great honor for us to be participating in this. We are one of only 3 professional American orchestras that have been invited to perform at the Proms this year. Great honor for us. Actually, that performance, our London performance, is going to be rebroadcast on the afternoon of Friday, August 31st, right here in Baltimore at our home at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall, and you are all invited to attend for free. Details are going to be posted on the website, bsomusic.org. Definitely check that out. So let's get back to some music now. We're going to hear more of the composer we just heard, Richard Strauss. That piece you may have recognized as the theme from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Well, that's actually not the original title, unfortunately. The original title is a long name in German, Also sprach Zarathustra. But we have more from Richard Strauss coming up now, one of his many fanfares for brass. This is the Vienna Philharmonic Fanfare. Enjoy. Thank you. So one of the coolest things about this tour is that we'll be performing a program of all Leonard Bernstein on Leonard Bernstein's 100th birthday. That is really, really special for us, especially given that Maren Alsop, our music director, is one of Bernstein's proteges and one of her greatest mentors. So she is really an authority on Bernstein, and so to be performing an all Bernstein program on the composer's 100th birthday at the Edinburgh Festival is just a huge honor for the orchestra. That's on Saturday, August 25th. It's a really meaningful moment for us as well. We are the only professional American orchestra that has been invited this year to perform on the Edinburgh Festival. So again, a huge honor for us for the symphony. And not only that, but a huge honor for us to represent the city of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, as we serve as cultural ambassadors for our region and our community. So it's a really, really special moment for us. So we'll go on to some more music now. The great thing about the musicians we've gathered for you here today is that these guys and gals are capable of producing the biggest sounds an orchestra can manage. Really, those moments where you're sitting at an orchestral performance, maybe you're even listening to you're watching a movie and you're hearing these beautiful, lush scores, and then those moments where you get goosebumps on your skin, those are usually caused by brass crescendos and big percussion climaxes and all that. And so we have gathered here today these instruments of the orchestra to perform some of what they do best for you right now. This tradition of involving brass and percussion in the orchestra actually started as a military tradition when you would have trumpet signalers and military drums and that kind of thing. Slowly, composers started to realize that, hey, you could use these great, great sounds in an orchestral, in a secular and a sacred music setting. And in fact, in the Renaissance, our next composer, Gabriele, managed to use all sorts of brass, and he managed to also move them into different areas of these big cathedrals to create antiphonal effects where you get sort of echoes from one side to the other. So you get these beautiful antiphonal pieces that he wrote to be performed in churches and great open spaces like this. So I think you'll be transported with us back to the 16th century as we listen to Gabriele's Canzone in Echo. Of course, today we're hearing just a small portion of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, although again, these folks can produce some of the biggest, grandest sounds that you'll ever hear anyone in an orchestra produce. But again, we have about 50 to 80 other players involved as well normally. So we hope you'll come to hear us at our home down the street at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall. There's really nothing like hearing a symphony in a real acoustically well-designed hall. It's just a real beautiful thing. thing to experience. Our 2018-19 season begins in September, and we really hope you'll consider joining us for some of our many concerts in many varieties of styles. We don't just do classical music, we do everything from classical music, yes, of course, but to pops and to movies. We even do a show called Pulse, which brings together indie bands and members of the orchestra together in never-before-heard collaboration. So we do really, really neat things at this orchestra. So on the classical side, we have everything from this season, from Vivaldi's Four Seasons, evergreen classic, to things like Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess, a really, really important piece of the 20th century. And then we even have some crazy things like the Turanga Leela Symphony by Messiaen, which is just, you may not have heard of it. You'll probably never hear it again in your lifetime because it's really a special piece for an orchestra to perform. It's very difficult and very big. So we hope you'll join us for that in January as well. We also do a lot of family concerts for kids and the whole family. They're a lot of fun. A great educational experience. We do things like Peter and the Wolf. You may have heard that. We are also doing this year Britain's Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. We do a version of the Nutcracker that's jazzified a la Duke Ellington. We also do a whole program around space and everything sci-fi. And we have holiday concerts too, The Messiah, our holiday pops with tap dancing Santas in December. And we're also pleased to present Grammy Award-winning gospel singer CeCe Winans, appearing with the BSO and Morgan State University Choir in our Gospel Christmas. We also have Leslie Odom Jr., best known as Aaron Burr, sir, in Hamilton. He won the 2016 Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical and a Grammy Award. Spectacular. And again, as we mentioned, we do movies too. What better movie could we be starting with than Star Wars in September? The original Star Wars, A New Hope, in September, performed live the whole movie with the Baltimore Symphony under the baton of our principal pops conductor, Jack Everly. We also have things like The Nightmare Before Christmas, West Side Story, and yes, Harry Potter films. We're doing a whole series of all the Harry Potter films, top to bottom. All of this information can be found online, bsomusic.org. So we really hope that you'll join us at the Meyerhoff for our exciting concert season. Now, speaking of evergreen pieces of classical music, we have a piece for you that many of you will recognize if you've ever been to a wedding, especially the second half of this piece. This is the music for the Royal Fireworks by George Friedrich Handel. And this is a really fun story, too. He was asked by the king to compose this piece, and specifically he was asked by the Royal Master of the Ordnance, for which they were presenting fireworks, of course, too. He was asked, please no fiddles. So actually Handel sort of went against those orders, and he did end up writing a piece that involved violins as well. But in this case, we have an arrangement for just brass and percussion. So this is, I think, how that Royal Master of the Ordnance would have wanted it, of course. So this is the music for the Royal Fireworks by Handel. And now I believe we have a special guest joining us today. Madam Mayor, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Let's give our Baltimore Symphony Orchestra that are here with us today a big round of applause. I hope you all are really enjoying. I want to thank the BSO Associate Conductor, Nicholas Hirsch, and members of the brass and percussion section for just really taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us. For those of you who are in the audience, this will actually be the last performance, their last performance before leaving for a 9-day international tour. Give that a big round of applause. This is the first international tour in 13 years. They're going to London and Dublin, and we're so excited. There are many people who will be traveling with them. I wish that I could. But I'm very excited for them because, one, they get to travel. Two, others get to partake in the beauty of this music. So, again, let's give them another big round of applause. And so while this is our party on the Plaza, being anointed by the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, I'd like to present this citation to the members, and you can come up. So this is from the City of Baltimore, a mayoral salute. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I am so pleased to salute the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra in recognition of your participation in the party on the Plaza, a free outdoor concert. I think that deserves another round of applause. And featuring our own conductor, Nicholas Hirsch, and members of the brass and percussion section of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. I had the great opportunity to participate with the orchestra, too. I don't know if you know this.
I remember.
With the orchids. I was so good. I was so good. So thank you all for allowing me to participate with you all. As you showcase many of BSO's classical favorites, the citizens of Baltimore wish you a bon voyage as you embark upon your concert tour in London, Edinburgh, and Dublin. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I offer my congratulations.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you. So you all are in for a tremendous treat. So we're glad to see you all out here. Let's give our orchestra another big round of applause and wish them well on their journey, their 9-day tour.
I can think of no better way to follow that with this second half of this piece, which is entitled La Réjouissance, or The Rejoicing. So here we go.